What's up, guys, and welcome back. Man, how crazy was it? Well, it was yesterday to me. I don't know if you guys saw the video. If you haven't seen it, you need to go back and watch my previous video. We got the truck running. Now, we are definitely far away from being completed and finished and done and driving, but it does turn on. And look how cool this thing is looking. Man, the thing is awesome. Let me turn you guys around. Look, I can show you where I'm at, what I'm doing, and where I need to go. So, hang tight. Let's check it out. So when Fernando was here, c30 on Instagram, he stopped by to help me and Gilbert out and get this thing to run. It actually ran pretty dang good. You saw that we even jumped in the pool. And I know to a lot of people, that might be a big deal, but it's a huge deal to me because I don't know how to swim. So the bet was, if this thing starts at the first shot, and I'm the one that said it, you know what, if this thing starts first try, I'll even jump in the pool. And I'm telling you, I really don't know how to swim. So if you saw the video, I jumped on this side because this side's like 3 foot, and I do know that. But it felt good. It was like a huge relief. I felt good. I felt very accomplished because, you know, I did all the wiring on this thing. And I've played around with wiring in the past, but I've never wired an entire vehicle. And, you know, I feel pretty good. You know, I'm not the type of person to tap his own shoulder, tap his own self on the back, but this thing ran. And all these little wires, yeah, I feel good. I don't know if you guys can tell or not, but we still got a long way to go. When we were down here, I need to find a 12-volt source, key on ignition for the power supply to the ECM or the computer or ECU. I'm not sure how you guys know it, where you guys are watching from, but we need to have power, key on power to that computer. Now I was looking at the wire harness, and I think there's actually just actual ports that supply 12-volt battery directly from your bulkhead right there. So there might not be an actual need to splice into any of those wires. I'll have to double check, but I think I might be right, and it might just be finding a spot to mount that computer and then running that wire to one of those little outlet port things. So that might be easy. Fernando did say that back home, because he's not from here, he actually traveled over here to give us a hand. He said he has a mount that we can use for that computer to mount it up there somewhere, you know, tuck it away as nicely as possible. These looms are a little bit too long for pretty much mounting it right there. And yes, I did cut my finger, but that's all part of it. So we'll mount that later on when we get that in. He said he was going to send it with a buddy of mine. There's actually a car in Adelanto, California, where he's actually from. So he'll meet up with my buddy out there, and he's going to give it to him, and my friend will bring it back. And we have officially found a name for it, and we're going to call it El Toro Loco. So for you guys that don't know, El Toro Loco is one of my son's favorite monster truck. And when we were putting this truck together and we lowered it, and when I put the stacks on it, my son kept saying, look, it looks like El Toro Loco. And I kind of caught on to it, but I, you know, just kind of passed by. And he kept saying, it's like, I have my own Toro Loco now, a real one. And I was like, you know what, we'll play around with this a little bit. And it's my son's favorite, one of my sons. You can see there's one here that he plays with that's all broken. There's one that he was playing with over here, And then there's one that's over here. So this is what he's imagining this truck to look like. Sorry about the blood on my hand. So there's a car that he made himself from 2 broken cars that I thought was pretty cool. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make the car that he sees in his head in real life. So El Toro Loco has been born and is now coming to life. So this is the car that he made himself. It's a lowered version of a monster truck. So he made this, and I always thought it was pretty cool, and I never put 2 and 2 together that this truck does somewhat resemble this toy. The way it looks from the front and just the uniqueness of the truck. Now, I'm not gonna throw El Toro Loco stickers all over it. You know, it's just gonna be, if for one, I'm gonna take the name. I'm almost thinking of calling it El Toro Mas Loco, which would be El Toro Loco's lowrider cousin. But it is now called El Toro Loco. So let's finish up El Toro Loco. It will no longer be called C30 Tow Truck Project. I'd introduce you guys to El Toro Loco. So a lot of these wires, we're playing around with them and just kind of putting them, just, you know, ground, hook it up right here real quick, power. None of the wires are ran to its final spot, but that's what I need to work on. Cleaning this all up. This battery obviously doesn't fit in here. This is made for an Ultima, so we'll find an Ultima battery. So don't start knocking me on, oh, that's an ugly battery. Yes, I know. It's just for testing. It's just a test battery. We need to figure out the drive line on this thing, get a measurement for that. And the fittings for the fuel tank are here, so we'll be knocking those out. If you guys don't know how to do those PTFE fittings, I didn't show you guys how I did any of them in the front, so I was trying to kind of race against time. But I will do these 3, you know, in slower motion, so you guys can see how they're made. And then obviously the other ones would just be exactly the same, just, you know, with different fittings, either 90s or straight across or 45s, stuff like that. So I'm gonna finish these headlights. I'll put you guys on a little stand for a little bit, and let's start knocking some of this stuff out, man. You know how I do. I like that song, but YouTube don't like me playing songs. You're in there? Say hi. So I started going down the checklist, and I guess I can honestly just start anywhere I want, because I think everything needs to be done. But now I'm going to try to focus on drivability. Headlights, brakes, fuel obviously, and brake lights, turn signals, not too important, but and to some people it's very important, because I hate when people don't put their turn signals on. So if you guys remember how this one used to look before, it was really crooked, like at an angle. And as far as crooked, I'm talking about the way that they're made. You can see how this line goes right here. So if you were to turn it like this, that would be too crooked. This would be straight up and down. This is how it's supposed to be, and this would be upside down. So I don't need that, Mama. Not right now. So you have to modify these headlight buckets a little bit. Not much, but this is the factory location of this little indention here. This is a OEM headlight, and it doesn't work, so I could turn it around and it's not gonna get messed up. I see you, Mama, I see you. So if you try to put this wire in here, it will work, but it ends up being, oh, don't break it. It would have to be like this, and you would put it in here, and the light ends up like this. If that's the look you're going for, then by all means, just put it in there. But I don't like it like that. I don't think they're made to be put like that. And these are not vehicle specific. They're not for C10s. I think it's just a general 7-inch LED HID. There's the number. They are very nice. They are very bright. They do have a high beam. They have a low beam. They're very nice, but they do crack. They are sealed glass. That's why I like them, because they look original. They feel original. They're not plastic. They're very well built, but when it gets really hot, hold on, Mama. When it gets really hot, they will crack. The lens will crack. And that one is already cracked, and I have a cracked one on that side too. So don't really know why it happens. I think if it had maybe a little breather hole or something, or it maybe just gets extremely too hot here where I live sometimes, and you know, they'll crack. But in order for you to put them in there right, you got to drill right here. You drill right here, and then you get a step notcher, and you pretty much redo this over here, so then you can feed your wire sideways and put it in there correctly. If you don't have this little notch, this wire will bulge right here and it won't sit flush. So these wires actually will go through here and past that, so this will seat on there. So, just a quick tip, nothing too crazy, but if you guys like these lights, just make note that you will have to modify your truck. Some people don't like modifying anything. They do sell ones that are a lot more expensive, you know, at least to me they're a little bit too much, but you won't have to modify anything. If you get these, the Amazon specials, you're gonna need to do this. So just be prepared for it. Once I put these in there, I'll turn the lights on, show you what they look like, and then we'll continue with something else. Let me turn this off, guys. I apologize that I'm not gonna be able to record that much today. We got a severe heat warning. I think today's supposed to be 106. And we're just sipping on Gatorades. Got my little helper over here. I've just been feeding her nothing but chocolate ice creams. But this is kind of what we're working on. All right, Mama, put it on. Oh, right there. There we go. So I got some flashers in here now. Got those set up. Okay, Mom, that's it. Thank you. So got those kind of wired in. And then we did finish our headlights. So we got headlights now. HIDs, baby. Looks good. So all of our, I mean, I'm not even sure what these flasher lights would be called. I guess like emergency lights, or, you know, trying to keep the whole tow truck, kind of service truck kind of theme going. So I will have some flashers. I'll have that thing all hooked up to a switch, probably this one, or maybe inside. That way while I'm driving I can actually turn them on. That's probably what I'll do. I did want to use this just because it was already there. I think that's what it was for originally, but Oh, and look at this. I had to take off for a little bit because I found me a CB radio. 20 bucks. And I've been looking for one of those ever since I had the the little idea of putting that stereo inside of there. And this thing's actually a lot bigger. I don't know if they come in different sizes or what, but hold on, Mama. Hold on. You want to go to 7-Eleven? Okay, I'll take you right now. You're hot? Your cheeks are hot. Yeah, it's pretty hot out here. Whew. But yeah, it's hot for me too. It is hot for me. We'll go get some cold Gatorades and some ice cream. Yeah? Okay. So we'll wrap this up. And kind of had all these, reloomed some of these wires. So now I have this one ran through another one right here. Goes across, connects to that one. And then they single out wire to that one. And then they ground just right behind itself. It grounds to the chassis. Both of those, a single wire somewhere inside to a switch, and you should be able to turn them on and off. Yeah, it's okay. You just got dirty. A little bit of chocolate never hurt nobody. We'll keep on moving, push it forward. We'll see what we can get ourselves into next. You want to turn it back on? Let's go max, baby, max. Had to fast forward a few days because of this heat warning that we got. It was just too much, man. A little bit too much to bear. But I was out here working at night. Probably the only time I could really get out here and get anything done. But I'll turn this around and show you guys what I've been kind of working on and where we're at the moment. So I got the fuel lines in. They're all buttoned up, tightened up. One of them's long. This is gonna be our vent side. I'm gonna try to see where I could put that under there, under the frame, out of the way, zip tie it, call it good. So we should be able to fill this up now and run the pump directly off of our tank. I'm gonna make a little wire there. I'm still waiting on some fittings. I don't have any wire fittings. I just got a bunch of random ones. I ordered a box. It should be on its way today sometime. We actually had some rain. I was thinking it was like 104 with rain. So if you can see, like, it just got super nasty out here. Ended up finding a CB radio. It actually works, so I feel bad messing that thing up. So my initial plan was to buy one that didn't work and then open it up and then sticking that Bluetooth receiver inside of here, and then just kind of using this as a disguise for my radio. But seeing that it actually works, I think I'm just gonna throw it in there like that and then hide the radio somewhere else. So this thing's pretty cool. I could just run power to it. I mean, it was 20 bucks. It's from 1995, and for it to be in such good shape, I hate to mess it up. I'm not gonna be the one to tear that thing apart. If it didn't work, I would definitely be opening that thing. We gotta still work on some stuff. It came with this old school speaker too, Motorola. It actually works. That thing works too. I have it connected. I was jamming with it, so that's all gonna go down here under the dash where originally it would have been. But I don't know. I like working on stereo stuff, if you guys can't tell. But there's other stuff that needs to be done. Gilbert came yesterday. Gave me a hand while I was working inside, getting some stuff done, some orders. But we have our shift linkages in. It actually got stripped down there at the bottom, so we're just gonna kind of weld it in place. See if I can show you on. I bought two of them. I mean, the ratings were good, but now seeing it here in person, I can see why it kind of stripped. Let's see if I can open it for you real quick. I bought 2 of them because Mr. Miyagi, my other truck, one of these are the ones that stripped. So you could only tighten the bottom one, and this one stripped out. So we're just gonna throw a little tack up here, and that'll tack it to the bar. And we'll have just adjustment on the top screw. So basically this would slide onto here, and then you would have some adjustment in here. But I'm just gonna slide it all the way down, just weld it right here. So this would just be a solid connection, and then you wouldn't need these anymore. And then adjust it just from the bottom. At least for this one, that's all we'll need. The other one is for this truck here, because mine is stripped and it doesn't hold its position for very long. It always moves, and I've noticed it in a few videos when I'm driving by somebody and they're behind me. A lot of times my reverse lights are on. Oh, that's for wires, Mama. Yeah, the reverse lights will be on, and it's because of that. Oh, and we have a battery. Let me cover that. It's a pretty warm day. What can I say? It's the world we live in. It's always warm here. We got a couple parts in also in here. Hold on, Mama. We got the ECU brackets. So these go on here, like this, and then this will mount somewhere in there. We need to find a place for this. We need to find constant power, well actually 12 volt key on ignition power for this, for our computer. And then what else? Our purple wire. That is our transmission lockup for the torque converter. So we need to find. Yeah, let me see. Let me see it. I knew they were gonna find my stash. It's a Supra. Not a Tory. That was a collectible. That was mine. So let me get back to work, guys, and I'll catch you guys here in a little bit and show you where we're at, because it's pretty warm. So I gotta try to go as fast as I possibly can and get the heck back inside to the AC. We need to get this thing done. Today is, oh, I have to check on the calendar, but it's pretty much coming to the end of the month. Yeah, you can help me on the truck on this side, and I'll be on the other side. Okay, so see you guys in a little bit. So I was going through some of our Amazon boxes that came in over the weekend, and we'll start with this guy here. That is the part number and the brand. Doesn't really say what it is besides it being 20 feet, but it's the rubber seal to the door. I mentioned that I didn't like the factory one because you got to glue it, but I've already done this side, and you can see how it seals up, and it's a lot easier to put on than the factory style with the glue. So we'll go ahead and put this other side on real quick so you can see. 20 feet will do both sides. I get it out of the package, cut it in half. Oh. Somebody's tripping out here. And sorry guys, but somebody's out there. So you push this on here just like that, and you kind of work your way all the way up. Hold on, Mom. Yeah, hold on, give me a second. Oh, sorry, I'm not even showing you guys where I'm at. So I pretty much push that guy all the way up in there, just like that. It's about as far as I can get with one hand. And then let me get the rubber mallet. And the rubber mallet is pretty much what kind of seals the deal. There's little pieces of aluminum that grip onto it once it's on there. And you'll see what I mean here in a second. Man, I need to clean up some of this mess. Just working on too many things at once, but it all needs to get done, so it just kind of turns into a mess. But as you can see how it's kind of on there and kind of not. Once you hit it with the rubber mallet, and it's pretty easy to form. I'm not hitting it very hard. Watch out, Mama, I don't want to smash your fingers. I'm not hitting it very hard at all. This will get it on there. But there is aluminum in here, so you got to be very careful. If you hit it too hard or something, it will kink it. So make sure it's on there first before you start hitting it. Just kind of get whatever you can on there. And it does form this corner pretty good. It's not going to be that sharp, obviously, because this thing is not, you know, it's not formed. It's just a straight shot. But since it is aluminum, if you keep hitting it in this corner, it will kink it to where, you know, it will form that little corner. So let me go all the way around this thing real quick, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so half of the 20-foot piece is 10 feet. 10 feet will get you all the way around. I still haven't pushed it in place, but just to let you guys see, this is what ends up being left over. It's like a 6-inch piece. There's the other side. Hold on. So that's all the way up. Now just kind of go back, and you'll see it. It will go in. There's that corner I was talking about. And it fits on there really good. No waiting time. No waiting for nothing to dry. No glue. No tape. On there and tap it. This is a 5/8 bubble on a half-inch piece. I think they do sell one that's a little bit bigger. I haven't found one that fits better than this. It's the one I've used on, I think, on the last 5 trucks I was gonna say I've built, but I mean, I guess your definition of build really depends on who you're talking to. Some people, they just, you know, don't consider this builds, but the last couple trucks that we put together, this is what I've used, and I like it. I have used the OEM style with the glue. Not a fan. This is nicer for me. It looks kind of more of modern style, I guess, and it's on there too. Like, it's on there. If I wanted to get it off, I'd have to stick something behind there and get it off. So it is on there. So let me continue to push this in. We'll cut that off, and we'll see what other stuff we can get into. We still got some cleaning up to do. We're so far away from being done, but I guess we're a lot closer than farther now. And we keep moving. Turn that down real quick. That was about an hour and something, just to kind of wrap up these wires down there, because they were obviously way too long. I kind of just had everything connected just to see if we can get it going, and now we got it going, so we got to start cutting them to length and try to make the cleanest harness possible. And I also left myself, I piggybacked off of one of the wires in there, so now we got an extra dash light wire. That one's going to be running towards our cab lights, and then this other one is a 12 volt key on ignition for our TCC for the torque converter lockup switch that we'll be installing here soon. So this is going to be for our brake lights and also the switch for our torque converter lockup switch. And it's starting to get a little dark in here, but you're gonna have to trust. And this thing right here is gonna save you guys tons of time. It lets you guys know where there's power, constant power, and battery power, and how much battery power is coming out of that wire. I'll show you guys what we did back here. Man, race against the time. These are the times where stuff just starts to get kind of crazy. We got our computer mounted up there, and kind of have it mocked up a little bit. I mean, this thing was obviously way too long, and it's up and under the dash, so you won't be able to see it. But that harness thing that I just made right now was for this guy here, to plug this guy and this guy up and connect our dash. So we should have our dash connected. Now our gauges are mechanical on this on our cluster, which we're not going to be running these gauges because we got the LS, and that's going to run off the computer. But connecting that harness should give us dash lights. Once we pull this, those should turn on, and our battery should probably work, hopefully. What else? Our fuel gauge, if it works, that should work. Our turn signal switch, so these guys should turn on. If the bulbs are good and everything is connected, those should turn on. So let's keep going. We'll keep connecting those things. And it's starting to get a little late out here, but it's the only time that I'm able to work because, you know, the temperature drops. So I mean, I apologize that I'm not able to kind of show you guys everything step by step, but I will bring you guys along the way. As I move, I'll show you where I'm moving to and why I'm moving there and why I'm doing what I'm doing. So just keep watching, keep staying tuned, and we'll keep moving forward. Got that thing hooked up. A little harness that I made right now, and like they say, Let there be light. Boom. We got power. Awesome. So there is reason for the madness, guys. We are trying to just knock stuff off the list. And there went a big one. Power inside. The power steering hoses come in tomorrow. You get those things in. And then I don't mind having loose wires as long as I know where the wires go. That part is not that bad. So this wire here that you see here, that's a wire that I put myself. That is fed all through here and up to here. So those are going to be for the cab lights. I'm not too sure if the original wire harness was any good, so I just yanked it out. I mean, there's no point on just trusting something that's, you know, so old. These are speaker wires, just kind of dangling there. Still haven't decided where to mount this guy, but we'll get there soon. And then I have a spare wire here. That's actually for a subwoofer, and in case we get one later. And then these are the wires that I left myself extra for the 12-volt source for our brake switch. I'll keep moving forward as much as I can. Starting to get a little warm out here again, but I think I'm gonna grab one of these chairs and do that and do that. So if I'm gonna sit down, might as well take advantage and work on something that I can sit down working on. Let me find the lights and we'll get to wiring. This is just basic lights. So the same way these were wired in, these wires don't work anymore, so these will be chopped off. And these are color coded, and it looks like the puppies got to these, but I'm sure to just cut these off, cut it right here, connect them back together, and they are coated. So I just have to look at the wires, see what they are, connect them where they go. And since we have our battery in and our switch, we should be able to see if these turn on. So let me lower the front of the vehicle and we'll raise the back of the vehicle and start working back here for a little bit. Time to get set up for another long night. I'll see you guys mañana. We're back out here checking off more boxes. We finished up the tail lights last night. Got real late, as you can see, but we're moving to the inside. See if we can finish this up. Starting to get kind of tired of seeing all these wires and stuff, so we're finally gonna have to see if we can wrap this up. I was able to get the ECUs up there, so it's mainly this stuff. So I think I'm gonna start with the cab lights. I have no idea how long this video is so far, so if you're still with us, thank you guys. I really do appreciate it. But that wire is ran through here and we're up here. So the way that the factory one was, it looks like they were all just linked together and then kind of went into one. So I'm definitely just gonna follow that. I think it'd be the easiest. I'll have to feed this through somehow. I think I might have maybe a TIG rod, kind of tie it and see if I can fish it through there, then pull it out, and then fish it through there, pull it out, and then I'll pull the centers up through the holes, and I'll just chop them, boom, boom, boom. Hope that makes sense. So basically there'll be a loop right here, and then shot to the other side, loop, and then just cut them in the middle, tie in our lights, and put these down. I was able to get some power, a power wire from our light switch, so we'll be hooking up to that. And then the other side is obviously just the ground, so we'll ground this out somewhere underneath. This truck did have the cab lights in there originally, but the wires were cut, so I don't know where the wires were originally ran to, but I know that if I pull this switch, that wire gets power, so these should turn on. So that's the way I'm gonna wire it up, and that's how it's gonna live from now on. So let me feed these wires through, and I'll come right back with you. Definitely do not recommend you guys standing on top of your show trucks, but we're making way just to kind of show you guys. It is a little tricky, it's not impossible. I got a little TIG rod, like I mentioned, and I taped it up, and I'm just feeding it in, and we're trying to see if we can get to this last one. I can see it in there, but it's hugging this bottom pocket, and this one kind of, I can't get it to curve that way. But we're getting, oh, there it is. We're getting close. Boom, there it is right there. Let me pull that guy out, and then start wiring up some lights. Here we go. Just like that. We'll be cutting them right here, and then tying in our lights. I would recommend putting something in between here, because I was trying to pull these through the next hole. This one kept falling in, so maybe kind of set something up, put something there, fish this guy out, so you can pull on it, and this will lock in place, instead of me trying to pull on this and then this would go back down, and kind of we're just fighting them. And definitely give yourself enough slack down there so your wires are long enough to connect to what you need to connect down there. Let me find the lights that I bought, and I'll connect one with you, and then the other ones will just be pretty much exactly the same, besides, you know, cutting the two, connecting the reds together, connecting the blacks together, and then jumping over. Hopefully I don't fall. Found our lights. Some good Amazon specials like we like doing around here. We turn off the old DeWalt 9000. You guys won't be able to hear me. So I got that hooked up. Got the old glass cleaner. Clean up our mating surface here. And I would highly recommend to run a bead with some silicone of some sort to keep the water out. As you can see, this did have it at one point, so all this is saved. Even though it's damaged around it, it didn't go in the hole. So I mean, it does work. I had to scrape all this old sealant off and then wiped it clean. And it looks like we used to have a white truck over here too. And these are just a basic connection, black to black, red to red. They don't blink or anything, they just turn on and off. So really simple connection. I'll just have to do this 4 more times, and we're missing one and I can't find it. So I think I'm gonna go down there at the bottom and kind of just hot wire this in and make sure that this turns on with that switch if we're due. Oh, and I opted for the HID LED setup instead of the old-fashioned halogen bulb. So let me rig this up down there and see if we got some action. Okay, we'll come down here. This is our wire that's running up to our dash lights, and I got it spliced in. This is the wire that we made ourselves yesterday from that harness. So this has 12 volt power from the lights, So let's see, we can get a decent amount of ground just from stabbing this in here. Let's see if that works. Nothing. Let's see. Watch this as I move this ground around. There we go. It just wasn't making good ground. Well, that's on. So this is gonna work. Turn that off. That'll shut that light off. So we're looking good. We'll continue to wire up the rest of these lights. So I was able to find the last one, and we are working on the last one. So I want to slow down a little bit just so I can kind of explain to you before all these wires go away. This is our last loop. I pulled it. I mean, there's still enough slack down there, but I pulled it just enough where we can work, and I cut it in half. Cut it in half. Now I spliced it back together on itself. This is the same wire that came looped up, looped down, cut in the middle, and tied together. And then I'm putting these on here like this, just like that. And then I'll slide the heat shrink to the centers. Now I'll heat shrink them together. So let me tie these up real quick, and then we'll heat shrink them so you can see. So we got them tied up together now, and we'll slide this guy on just like this, and put that solder right over where the wires cross, just like that, and then apply some heat to it and get this black wire out of the way so we don't melt it. Slide this up a little bit right there. This has a little curve on it so you can get behind the wire and it'll heat it at the same time. And this will start to melt together. And shrink right there. And my solder will melt and connect those wires together. So I'm very impressed with these things. I've been using them for the last, I don't know, 3-4 years probably. Definitely a lot better connection than the stuff that I was doing, you know, back in high school, back in my earlier days messing around with these cars. Trying to get away from the electrical tape stuff, you know, duct tape, zip ties. They have their place. But electrical tape in here, something that you don't want to kind of mess with ever again. Something that has a soldered connection. Instead of having to solder each individual wire, this stuff, you slide it on, you heat it up, it'll solder itself together. That connection is guaranteed a lot better than the stuff that I used to do. So these are good. We'll do this very last one. Unfortunately, the screws that came with the kit are too small, and it's the wrong thread. So even if they were good, it'd probably mess those up. I mean, it'd almost be like just driving a self-tapper screw to that thing. But my other truck over there is a dually, and has the cab lights, and I stole one of the screws, so we're gonna go to the store and get one of those. And this side is actually missing our little piece, so this one might get a little self-tapper action right here on the side probably. I don't think I can find a piece that goes in here unless it's similar to the stuff that I was buying before, but we'll check. If not, you know, self-tapper it is. And look at the visor. where the visor was connected. Somebody actually hooked it up like properly. Has threads in there and stuff, so that's cool. Whoever did that did an awesome job. So let me connect this last wire, and I'm gonna head down to the store, get some little screws, put those in together, and we'll see what we can work on next. Probably come in here and finish up the connection for that wire and tuck it away for its final time. And I think we'll work on, let's see, well, let's get back from the store and then we'll see where we're at. So I got those wired up. I started thinking, you know what, I don't want to go to the store. That's gonna take, you know, an hour out of my time. Go over there, get in line, come back. Like, nah, this thing's just been staring at me, so we're gonna put this in here. So these other two little screw holes were already there. That's where the CB radio, this did have a CB radio in it. I could see the brackets and this little walkie-talkie thing. There was one under the seat that was broken, and the little bracket that it had, I think it sat like right there. So that's why I'm kind of just bringing it back to kind of how it was, just with a different flair to it. And like I showed you, I put power to this thing, cleaned up the connections, put power to it, and it turned on. So I don't want to mess it up. That thing is, it's cool, you know. On the back it says it was manufactured in 1994. So that thing's got some history to it. If it didn't work, I'd be tearing that thing apart, trust me. I'd be cutting that thing and stuffing that in there. It'd probably be easier. This, I mean, it's just, you know, it can't be any better than that, man. I mean, this thing fits in there. All you're gonna see is the little buttons right here. It's a cool little conversation piece, because somebody's gonna say, what are those buttons for? Boom. Turn up the jams and be like, what? I never seen that. Yep. But you guys have on Square Body Builders channel, and I gotta do it because I think somebody eventually is gonna know that that thing fits in here. So we got to do this first, guys, and I want to see you guys put this in yours too. So let me make these holes a little bit bigger. We'll slide this thing in there, and I think just a double-sided tape would probably work, but we'll see. We'll get it to mount in there somehow. We'll slide this in and we'll see what it looks like, and if it looks cool and it fits and it works, if it doesn't, that'll just go in the trash, and I'll jack the one from there and I'll throw it in there, and I'll buy that one a new one when the time comes. But I have a real good feeling that this is gonna work, and it's gonna look cool. So let me make these holes a little bit bigger. We'll put that in there. So I ran to my first issue. These holes would not go in the center, because if you want to make it go in the center, it doesn't sit flat in here. It needs to sit just like this and slide all the way forward. But that puts me not in the center of this tray. So that kind of sucks. Still doable. I mean, I'm gonna run one of these step bits through here, make the holes bigger, and then just countersink the buttons into that thing. But what I really wanted to do was just have the buttons on the outside like this. So I'm gonna give you guys the measurements in case you guys want to do one, and I'm gonna say these measurements for myself, because I think I might have another one somewhere. But we're still gonna make this one work, just, you know, for the sake of trying it. But you can see it does fit in here, and with this all the way pushed forward, this little let me see, I bent it down flat, but this goes straight up and down. And then this little top piece is what bends over, so it'll lock in place. Right now I just have it bent back so I can kind of play around with these things in there, get it set up. But we'll keep playing with this. But it's 3/4 inches. 3/4 inches from the top of here to the center of those holes. It's 3/4 inches. So let me make these holes extremely big and we'll come back. Well, we got it inside our ashtray and it fits damn near to the money. Back here, the sides of the ashtray were cut off just for the wires and stuff could come through. And this little clip, I left it. This is where it locks in inside the truck. And I guess I'm just gonna have to run the wires now, just to get the wires out of the stereo. And that little clip right there is actually touching the stereo. So that's what's keeping it in there. And I put a little insulation down here. It's just a rubber piece that I found to make up for the gap in between here, because the stereo is sitting on this, and this gap under here, if you push down on this, was making the stereo go like that. So I had to find something that fit right in here to try to keep this stereo straight. So I think that did it. Should be able to fit right in there now. So let me connect some speaker wires and we'll just let this hang and we'll see if this will slide right in. And the holes didn't come out perfect. Honestly, if I would have took the time to kind of measure it, I kind of wanted to just fly through this to see if it would even work. And it definitely will work. Kind of looks like an old school oh heck, what do you call them? Oh man, what are they called? The equalizers. The old school equalizers. So the volume would just stay up all the way. And you know, this is gonna be inside the glove box, or not the glove box, but the ashtray. So it'll just be volume, main volume to the speakers, bass, treble, subwoofer. And I'll have a subwoofer wire connected just in case we find a cheap one. I mean, I can't put a $17 stereo and then go try to find a $200 subwoofer. You know, it's not gonna cut it. But there is deals out there. Sometimes I find them, and when I try to go get them, they're already gone. But I do every once in a while find like kicker 10-inch subwoofer in a small little box for a truck, $40, you know, $45, $30. Those are the ones I'm looking for, because I'm paying for the speaker, paying for the box. So I mean, anything under $50 for a subwoofer is good. But for now, we'll get the speakers. So we'll run speakers for now, and we'll find a subwoofer when the time comes. But for now, there's my $17 stereo. Okay, I think we just about got it done. Had to modify something else real quick, this little tab, because these wires ended up right behind it, and I was trying to feed them from the side, but it was actually causing this thing to pop up, and that was going to keep us to struggle when we're trying to push this in, because this is going to be hitting the top. So I just made a hole, ran the wires through there, no big deal. Left speaker, right speaker, subwoofer output, and then your power. So I don't know if you were watching the previous videos, but I was using this cord, which I purchased separately. This is also a power cord, kind of like what you see on a laptop or something. So this particular model has two forms of power. You can wire it directly to a battery or one of these. And then this is how I test stuff, like if I want to run a quick test off a battery, or you see I was actually carrying this thing around with me. Just connect this to here, run that to a battery, and that's how you pretty much you wire these for, like, if you're gonna put them inside of a box, or what's a good example? Where's my son's bike? So I have a set of speakers in my son's bike that we put a couple last year sometime. Oh, these speakers right here, man, this bike, I'll tell you what. So this bike is running something similar. See, it's running a 12-volt battery source off of a battery, and that's using something like what we're pretty much doing there. So he's got Bluetooth speakers on this bike. I'm gonna have to tell him, man, you need to wash that bike, homie. Either wash it, use it, or sell it, do something. Well, I guess I can't really speak because look at my truck. My truck's all dirty. But anyways, let's see if we can get this through and get some power to this little speaker amplifier slash stereo slash C10 custom. Let's see, I'll put you guys down real quick. Or maybe not. Let's see. Get all these guys in here. Oh yeah, I'm about to set you guys down real quick. Let me push this in and hopefully get some power to this. Now we do have a successful install, but I would want to mention something and recommend something. Up here on the top, there's the screws that hold, I guess, the actual pocket to itself. I don't know if you can see, but those screw heads right there are touching the top of the stereo. So it's a little bit difficult to open and close. So I would definitely recommend switching those out for like a flat head style. So there's no, so it'd be a flat head instead of it, you know, actually being right there. But I mean, it does slide in, and once it's in there, it's not coming out. It's like that. So that's pretty cool. Something different for sure. I think I could play with it a little bit more, see if I can get it to sit in there a little flatter. I guess I could go back there and see what's hitting. But it's in there. That's for sure. I mean, if you want to keep opening and closing it and showing people what it is, then I would definitely see, because it scrapes the top of that. Yeah, I don't like that little. I guess if you left it like that, that's pretty cool. You can see what it is. You know, during a show or something. You know, turn it up, turn it down. Definitely cool. So we'll see if we can get our speakers connected, and I'll go inside and see if I can grab another phone or something where I can play some music out of that and record with my phone, because every time I try to show you guys, I can't, because I'm recording with my phone and my phone is the one that's playing the music. So I'll try to find a way to show you guys how it sounds. And since we're gonna be over there on the bottom, we'll connect our little CB radio, kind of start clearing out some of this junk. Well, I hate calling it junk, 'cause it's not junk. It's cool stuff. It's just junk to other people. But to me, it's definitely not junk. I mean, connect some wires and we'll keep pushing forward. Alright guys, well, this video is getting way too long, so stay tuned for the next video. And the stereo is in and it's connected, and we got a new windshield, so come back. Until next time, I'll catch y'all on the flip side.
We're bodybuilders, that's the name. Fueling passion, igniting flame. Backyard hustle, grinding hard, turning rust into works of art.